Good afternoon, everybody. Today is Monday, March the 12th, 2012. My name is Tim Bartos, and this is Gene Culinary.
Yes.
And I host 6 on Seniors, which is a segment seen each and every Monday during the noon news with Liz Bishop. And we talk about all kinds of things related to seniors, to caregivers, and as I like to say, everyone else in between. And this is a live web chat. And by that, we mean we want to get interactive with you. We want to take your questions. And this is meant to be an extension of the segment. So today we talked about kidney disease. And I'm going to tell you a little bit more about Jean in just a minute, but she is from the Kidney Foundation and she's an expert on kidney disease. And she is here to take your questions. So we are right now live in the CBS 6 studios right here on Balltown Road in Niskayuna. There are 2 ways that you can get questions to us. You can send them through email at chat@wrgb.com. Chat, C-H-A-T, very easy to remember, C-H-A-T at wrgb.com. Email us your questions or comments or thoughts, whatever you might want to send across the email, that's fine. If you don't want to use the email and you're familiar with Facebook or you're on Facebook, you can also send questions and comments through the CBS 6 Facebook page. So 2 ways you can get in touch with us. We're anxious to take your questions. And if you know someone who might benefit from this web chat today, please take time to give them a call and tell them to log on, cbs6albany.com, and we'll be here for the next 20 minutes or so answering questions and talking about kidney disease. All right, well, I always forget. And I do this every week, but I always forget. I always share a thought for the week, Gene. And my thought today, and this is my thought for the week, and it ties in very nicely to what we're going to be talking about. Would someone you know give one of their kidneys to save your life? If so, take good care of that person. And we'll be talking about that in just a few minutes. But something to think about. Something to think about as you go about your week. All right. To my right is Gene Culinary. Gene is a nurse practitioner in the Kidney Pancreas Transplant Unit at Albany Medical Center, right here in our capital region in Albany. And you have spoken both nationally and internationally on kidney transplantation and chronic kidney disease. So as I said, you are the expert, and we're so glad to have you here. Thank you so much for coming down and joining me today.
Thank you for inviting me.
Oh, you're very welcome. I hope you had a good weekend.
I did. It was actually lovely. Yes.
Wonderful.
Thank you. Yeah.
Did you remember to set your clock?
I did. I did. Yes. Yes, I did.
Well, you know, it's funny because a lot of times people forget, but I find that more people remember in the spring to turn that clock ahead than they do in the fall, because for most of us, we're so anxious to have
the
that extra hour of daylight. That,
yes.
I think fewer people forget to do it in the spring than in the fall. But
Yeah, no,
this is my theory. I don't know.
I was glad to do it.
Yes, likewise, right. And I hear from Neil Ostano that we're in for a great week. My gosh, almost 70 degrees.
Oh, it's wonderful.
So hopefully, it'll be a nice week for all of us.
Yes.
So, again, Gene, thanks for coming down. Let's get right into it. And I want to start by asking right off the bat, what is kidney disease? What is it? Can you define it for us?
Sure. I think you have to think first, what do the kidneys do for us? And they're very quiet, and they're very silent, and they go about their business when they're working well. They're filtration plants. And we have 2 kidneys. They're in the high part of our back, and they're protected by very strong muscles and ribs, and it protects them from physical injury. Some of the things that happen to them aren't necessarily from physical injury. In fact, most things that happen to them. They cause kidney disease by things that happen inside of us. And you spoke very well when you talked about the segment in the introduction to the news, that the things that happen are as we age, the number of functioning units in the kidneys decrease. So we each start out with about 1 million of functional units in each kidney. So we have about 2 million units. Oh. And as we age, those units decline in function and they decline in number. So
they just naturally break down.
They naturally break down by
nothing you can do about that.
By the aging process. You can choose how you age to a certain extent, but as part of the normal aging process, you are losing those functional units. So what those functional units do is they filter out waste products from our body. Our body is always breaking itself down, it's always reinventing itself. So when it breaks itself down, you have to get rid of the waste products, and the kidneys do that. They also take drugs that we take and break them down. They help to break them down, but they help mostly to get rid of them. So the drug does its job in our body, and the kidneys get rid of the end products of the medication. Yes.
Right.
It also takes toxins, and it excretes those. So if we're exposed to some excess toxins, for instance, maybe some pesticides, it will get rid of those. The other things, important things that kidneys do that a lot of people don't know about is they make hormones. So they make hormones that produce red blood cells. They make hormones that regulate our blood pressure. They make hormones that regulate our calcium and phosphorus balance, and those relate to our bones, how healthy our bones are.
Right.
The other things that kidneys do is they get rid of excess water that we take in. They get rid of excess potassium. They regulate our sodium balance, and they regulate the calcium and phosphorus balance.
Wow.
So they do really, really important things.
They certainly do.
So when they're not working so well, that's what leads to chronic kidney disease. And in America, most of chronic kidney disease is caused by diabetes, but that's closely followed by high blood pressure. So about 2/3 of chronic kidney disease is from high blood pressure and diabetes. And it's mostly type 2 diabetes.
I was just going to say type 2 diabetes.
Yes, yeah, about 90% of diabetes is type 2.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure, interesting. Well, and then I didn't realize when you mentioned the functioning units, you said a million per kidney, is that right?
Yes, about a million per kidney.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it's about 2 million.
Yeah.
And that naturally breaks down as you age.
Yes.
So, do you have a number? Say somebody is 70 years old. I mean, how much breakdown may have occurred?
Well, the best way to get your number really is to have a blood test done, as you spoke of earlier.
Blood and urine test, right?
Yes, a blood and a urine test. That's right. So what you can tell from the blood test is what your it's called your GFR. It's your glomerular filtration rate, and that is a unit of how well the kidney is working. When that GFR number gets to be below 60, that's when people start to get concerned about it. So when it becomes reduced like that, your regular primary care doctor will start to refer you to a kidney doctor. And the other thing that they look for is protein in the urine. So you talked about the urine test also.
Right. So that's what they'd be looking for in the urine.
Yes,
the protein in the urine.
protein in the urine, yes.